everyone. Welcome to Fabricista Make. I believe this is number 6 for me, and I'm so excited today because I have someone very special in the studio. This is not a studio.
It's our living room.
It's our living room. So Candace came over today, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a moment. But before we get to that and our make, I wanted to ask you something. Do you remember the night that you came over and you were talking about shopping and you mentioned a designer named Millie?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
What store were you in?
Well, I found a Millie dress at like a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx, and it was $550 and it was marked down to like $50. So I bought it because I was excited because the fabric was imported from Italy and it was like this beautiful metallic gorgeous fabric. So I bought it for the fabric. I didn't really know about the brand, but
Okay,
anyway.
So you actually ended up buying it.
I did.
And it said Millie.
Millie.
Okay, well I got so excited when you said that because Fabric Mart sells Millie fabric. Now my viewers know this because I'm just like, Millie, 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 Millie. I keep buying Millie. And I keep buying real fancy Millies.
Millie's expensive.
And so you need to give me some fancy events to go to.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Do you have any up your sleeve?
No, we need more invitations to things.
Well, I told everyone about the family wedding coming up in Italy this summer.
Yeah.
And I know that you and Mike are going. I know that Colin is planning to go. I don't know if Graham and Anna are definitely going. But I feel like if my children go, I've got to go. And I mean, I want to go, but I'm just really, really scared of the plane.
I think you can get through it. It's really, you know, you're so plugged in on those long flights. You've got TV screen. You'd be fine. You'd be fine.
I don't know. Well, let's get back to Millie and the make. I decided to choose for my make this month some Millie fabric. Now, it's not super fancy. I'm going to show it to you. It is a gorgeous, dark, in fact, they call it darkest navy.
I thought it was black, but it's not black.
You did think it was black.
It's navy.
And you kind of have to put it in the sunlight to see that it's navy. And I will insert a little footage that I took of this fabric right here so that you too can tell that it is navy. Hang on for that. Look at this beautiful wool. This is a Millie 100% darkest navy wool with a little bit of spandex in it. So it has a tiny bit of stretch, but I wanted you to see the luster of it in the sunlight. It is just gorgeous. That is what I'm going to be using today to make my lined jacket. So let's go. One of the first things I've done is taken a towel and I've gotten it fairly wet. Now, it is not dripping. You can still see some dry parts within it, but the wet parts are wet. And I used warm water on this towel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my beautiful wool and I am just going to put it right there in the middle of my towel. I'm going to wrap it up. And then what I'm going to do is put it in my dryer on a fairly high heat so that that towel is going to steam and steam my wool piece. So let's give it a whirl and see what we've got. So did that Millie dress you bought have any spandex in it?
I think it had a little bit of stretch, yes, because it's form-fitting. So, you know, it would have been boxy if it didn't have a little bit of spandex.
Is it a print or solid?
It's a solid metallic, kind of a slate blue, midnight blue. It's really pretty.
I have got to see this dress.
It's really quite lovely. It's a little short.
Okay.
But it's nice.
Okay. But you're young. You can wear short. Okay, so I chose this beautiful wool, and I picked the pattern Kwik 4104. My idea was to make a lined jacket since I was working with 100% wool. But I was not crazy about this styling. What do you think?
No. This lady is actually wearing 2 belts. Why?
Some of the
don't understand.
okay, we can remove some. Most, okay, we can remove most. All of the Kwik Sew envelope styling could use improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, this just, you know,
Someone is being paid to do that.
Yes,
You
and
know?
I don't think the models are all that excited about it.
No. No.
Well, I wanted to do view B. And I'll tell you why. I wanted to use a contrast for the collar and the cuffs, but I wanted to leave the band off the bottom because I thought that that made it too long. Now, the other thing I was going to do that was just going to complicate things a little bit was use the same fabric that I used for lining to be the contrast collar and cuffs. Why would that be complicated? Because lining fabric has to be real thin and silky, and you line things so that you can slide into them easily. And of course, collars and cuffs need to be
Structured.
So, you would not have believed how long it took me to find lining fabric. It was, I wish we could get Dad in here because I spent hours.
So did you pull this from your stash you already had, or you bought it specifically?
I pulled this from my stash that I already had, and it is a dark, dark navy.
I like this fabric a lot.
Polyester, very shiny. It almost looks like a men's tie, doesn't it?
That's what I was going to say, actually.
Yeah, it
Reminds
looks
me of the
very
back
much
tie.
like silk, but it's polyester, and it's super thin, and it frays on the edges if you look at it. So in order to make it strong enough for the collar and the cuffs, I used a super heavy duty interfacing on it, and that was questionable too, because then it made this virtually completely non-stretchy, and I'm putting it onto a jacket that has a nice bit of give, you know? It was kind of like, was that the smartest thing to do? I don't know. Well, rather than talk you to death about the jacket, let's just take a look at the jacket. But before we do, I'm gonna tell you guys why Candace is here. As I was sewing my jacket, and I thought, I'm really gonna, you know, stretch my skills, and I'm gonna work with wool, and I'm gonna line it and do some challenging things. And this is gonna be such a great jacket. And I just keep thinking pride comes before a fall, you know, because I was letting a little bit of pride creep in, like, oh boy, people are gonna be like, what a jacket, you know, and then I'll say, oh yeah, I made that out of wool, and I lined it, and I interfaced the, okay. So the whole time I'm working on it, doing my utmost, being very careful, following directions. Kwik Sew does have good directions. Toward the end of things, I thought, this jacket looks really small. And I often tell my friends, my sewing buddies, to size up with Kwik Sew because they tend to have a lot of ease. Well, this jacket was looking quite small. when I put my jacket on, it was pitifully small. And I thought, wait, how? No, back up. I went and got my pattern piece and I cut the wrong size. And when you make something lined, you cut 2 of everything.
Yeah, there's no going back. There's
You know,
no
you cut-
adding fabric anywhere.
Well, you can, but I put it on my dummy. You know how she came in my size?
Yep.
And it's kind of like this duster I'm wearing. This is about where it met.
It's just kind of...
Now a jacket doesn't have to close.
No.
But it just, I just felt kind of crushed because I thought, oh, I cut the wrong size. Now you'll see that there is a little ruffle on the bottom. And I added that at the 11th hour because I thought that it looked rather severe and businesslike, okay? And I thought that the ruffle would add an element of playfulness and a touch of femininity.
Oh.
Thoughts?
I don't think it needs the ruffle personally. I
Okay.
actually like the more professional, almost kind of boxy look to it. But
Do you really?
that's just me.
Do you get my
I'm not-
reasoning behind the ruffle?
I'm not a big ruffle person.
Okay.
I think you embrace a ruffle more than I do.
I definitely embrace a ruffle.
Yeah, I'm a little bit ruffle hesitant.
Okay, I didn't know that about you.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait,
true.
let me think about this. Are you sure?
I think so. I probably have some things with ruffles on them.
Yeah,
but,
you do have things with ruffles on them.
But like at the bottom, like a ruffle trim or a ruffle collar, I don't know.
Okay. Oh,
I don't
that's
know.
good to know because what about at the end of sleeves?
I mean, there's always an exception to every rule.
I know, that's true. So, okay, Colin thought that the ruffle was brilliant.
Okay.
But the menfolk in this house were so sick of hearing me talk about this jacket. I think that they would have said, if I had glued Bugs Bunny to it, they would have said, "That looks great. Are you done?
Well,
Are you going to stop talking about your jacket?"
they're very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's beautiful.
They are very supportive.
She
So,
added pockets too, which is
the pockets are in there. That was actually part of the pattern.
yeah.
And I will say I did not think the directions were clear for the cuffs on this pattern, but let's face it, I kind of went off on my own. If we can talk about the fabric for a second, oh my gosh, to sew this wool was a dream.
Yeah.
A dream. And it does not feel like scratchy wool.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all.
It's beautiful.
It just, it's just a really lush fabric. So what I was wondering, since you're quite a bit smaller than I am, would you model the jacket for us?
I will model the jacket. I feel like my outfit maybe not the best pairing, but I'll do my best.
Okay, good. Let's put it on and we'll be right back. All right, so here is Candace wearing the coat. I think it looks adorable on you.
Wall spin.
I think that the length is perfect on you. We come in a little bit closer. Now, how does it feel on you?
It feels great, honestly.
Okay.
The wool it's not like a typical wool. It's not real stiff.
Okay.
It's not scratchy. It's just very smooth.
Smooth, soft wool, and yet
The
it's got a
lining-
nice structure to it.
The lining is great.
Okay.
Feels like it would be very breathable. It's not like a stuffy blazer where you can't, move.
Okay.
It's nice and flowing.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Do you
it's
think
great.
you've changed your mind about the ruffle?
I still think it didn't need the ruffle.
So if I give you this coat, and you're welcome to it, I could take that ruffle off.
Oh, I wouldn't want you to take it off.
Oh, of course I could take it off.
Well,
Do you think it would be business appropriate?
I think so. I haven't seen myself in it, but yeah,
All
I mean,
right,
it feels
spin
great.
around and let's see the back.
Okay.
Oh, it looks so cute on you. And I look like a sausage stuffed into a casing in it. So
No, you
it's
don't.
definitely not going to work for me. Let me get up close to that gorgeous wool again and I'll see if the texture of it would show up. It's a little hard to capture.
Yeah, I don't know if the color will show up either.
But I
because
do-
it looks black, but it's not.
Yeah, I do love navy.
Yeah.
So,
Did you tell them about your idea to add panels to make it smaller?
well, I was thinking that I could take some of the contrast fabric and maybe seam it down the center front so that it would meet a little bit closer in the middle for me,
right, along here.
along there.
You can
Yeah.
visualize. I think that might be a good solution.
You think so? I think that ruffle is awfully cute. Thank you so much for wearing the coat.
Of course.
And I will have all the information about this Millie fabric in the description box below. It is a gorgeous wool, and I hope that if you want to make a coat, a lined coat, even an unlined coat, that you pick some of this up, because you can't go wrong with Millie. And this will be Candace and me signing off. Thanks so much for being here today, Candace, and thanks everybody else for tuning in. Till next time, bye.
Bye.